Good morning, traders, and welcome to Framework Fortune, and welcome back, all you great Framework Fortune amazing individuals in the community. So I am in two plays. One was a swing. Well, they're both swings actually. But one is a swing from Monday, SONM. I'm still in. Maybe it was Tuesday. No, I got the dollar back here. That's right. So it's trying to break out again. But on the daily, 125 is holding this very strong resistance. You can see it just got rejected off of that area. So I'm looking for that to break. And then I got in HYMC after the big run it had. Let it pull back, and then yesterday it pulled back some more, so add a little bit more to it. Just looking for that to break 150. And of course, a whole lot happened with the Feds and other stuff yesterday. So we'll be talking about all that as we get into it. Ethereum over 2,800, just broke 2,800. So Ethereum's going bullish, right on time. We do have oil over $100, so all them oil plays are now back on the table. They were really never off the table. But yeah, you can see PTUS1. I don't know why I have an S there. I got Hassa on the list. Nope, I don't have us. I do have INDO. See what MARPS is looking like. And MARPS has been on a nice little uptrend the last 3 days. So if oil, right over 100 again, we're also seeing gold right near 2,000, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to be in HYMC. But it is having problems getting going. There's so much hype on this since AMC decided to buy shares into this company that it is it doesn't look much like a wild play yet, but I think it's going to get pretty wild, pretty volatile to all sides. Now with Ethereum breaking over 2,800, besides the oil stocks, you gotta keep an eye on some of those crypto stocks like BKT coming up, about ready to test this 550 area. Let's see, INDO. I don't know, looks like people are still a little bit skeptical on the oil plays, even though oil is over 102 a gallon. Maybe that's, or barrel. Maybe that's what they're looking at right there. That 10-day moving average. So oil needs to re-break 105. Really 110. If oil breaks 110, it'll be off again. This 15-minute candle's fixing to close on SONM. See how it closes here. Same with HYMC. HYMC just kind of indecision at the moment. No direction at all. Just sideways. soon as it can make up its mind, we will know. Donnell, you got an MULN. It was a big seller, scared you out. Well, keep in mind, let's see. Let's take a look at it. Yeah, a nice little continuation rip. It's running into the 50-day, though, at 250, so it's going to have to break that. But, you know, you still made a profit, and I wouldn't worry about it. You're going to get plenty of opportunities. With the Fed announcements yesterday and some other stuff, man, oh my goodness, there's so much that I got to rant about later today. So the volatility in the markets is not going anywhere. There's going to be plenty of day trading and swing trading opportunities. They do have this pike that shot up, something 90% or something, but kind of slowed down since it shot up that much. Mid floats, nothing spectacular there. HYMC is on that scanner though. Well, it doesn't matter. Everybody knows about that play at this point. So N&M kind of slowing down there at the moment. This is a lot of selling pressure there on HYMC right below 150. Looks like it may give up. If 140 can't hold the support, and so we got plenty of bits stacked at 140, but they'd easily get taken out. So N&M's trying to get going. Just gotta break 125. You're so close. Uh, 140 cracking. So let's see if HYMC can hold here. Alright, SONM coming up on 125. Let's see if it breaks out. Come on, just a little bit more. My ear. I got something crazy going on in my ear right now. It's a weird sensation. Here we go. It's a nice U shape right here as well. It tried to hit like 25 and came down, curled up, pushing back up. Let's see, SPY still rebounding. Interesting. Hmm, hmm, hmm. Like SONM. Come on, just a little bit more. Set 125 on the ask. See how's hustle looking. Yeah, so you got a little short term trend line play hustle on. Play that with the oil future up. I'm just in a waiting game for now. Both of these stocks have kind of slowed down a bit. Hmm. All right, guys, I'm gonna take a quick little break. I'm having problems staying awake. It's a long, long night of finishing up taxes and other things. So I may have to step away a couple of times just to smack myself in the face. Unless we get exciting here, we start breaking out on something, then I might wake up a little bit quicker. Yeah, give me just a second, guys. I'll be right back. Hey, oh, there we go. We got it. SONM breaking that 125. Let's see if we can get back to that 150. And do I have a detective jacket on? It's just a sweater. What you mean? I'm out here detecting, and I'm Private Dick and Jerome Powell. I knew how bad that sounded before I said it, so. But have fun with that comment, making fun of it, because, ooh boy. What I meant was I am all over him. That ain't gonna help either. Let me just stop. We'll get into Jerome Powell, and I'll break him off here in a little while. In the Federal Reserve. I just want to wait for a little bit more people to get in here before I start going on that rant. Cause yeah, it's gonna be a rant. Preparing y'all now. Lot of things transpiring this past couple of days. Can anybody verify this? Cause I haven't had time. Do I need another break real quick? No, I'll be alright, man, for now. But if can somebody verify this? I haven't had time to research it myself, but I've been hearing that we don't have daylight savings time anymore. That they just, so whoever, I don't know, decided just to get rid of it. So I don't know what. I don't really think that's going to have an effect on anything, but that's just an abrupt change. But the least concerning thing of all the news that transpired yesterday. HYMC still holding at 140. We are still getting some rejection at 125 on SONM. HYMC is trying. It's got to hold that 140 area. Where's gold at? Gold is at $19.45 an ounce. Alright, can we get through this 125? So far, 3 15-minute candles, nothing but buying. Come on. Once it can break and then hold 125 as support, which it just did, kind of start holding 125 right there before it popped a little bit again. HYMC still holding 140. The 15-minute candles are about to close. This one's closing into buying. Yeah, look at that. That next candle opened up even higher. But we're going to need to see 145 start holding that support if we're going to test 150. MULN with a pullback. Of course, it ran right in that 200-day on the 4-hour, and I believe it was the 50-day on the daily chart, or maybe the 2-hour, but a lot of resistance right there. That's why it's getting yanked back down. Still could break out later, possibly, if it continues to hold its It's gains for the most part, but at the moment, nothing really there. Got IMPP slowly climbing up. So you can just see all these different oil plays that we've been watching and trading last week. They all started slowly uptrending again. Now, if we see 150 break here on HYMC, I think we can see it have another strong move up. Little rejection there again at 143. So everything is struggling to break resistance lines right away. Even though the SPY's, well, actually, it was trying to rebound, but now you can see where it's running into the resistance. So that's what's slowing these down from breaking resistance at the moment. Well, gold moving back up to 1950. Gold breaks 1950, we could see it back moving, which would really help HYMC since it is a gold miner. HYMC still just trying to test 140 support. Got to stop testing that and move up, get off of this area, get over 145 here real soon. We're going to try to break. Hustle looking nice, pushing up more off that trend line. Break a 7, that could go, but if you're not in yet, you kind of are buying at resistance if you look at entry now, but it does look like it's going to try to retest 7. SONM, pretty big rejection actually off of 125. 10 cents down. I wasn't expecting that big of a rejection. Keep a close eye on it. It keeps pulling back like that and getting out. So, okay, there we go. 150 trying to hold the support. Although we need to see more. There they come. Okay. INDO coming back up, break a 33. That one can start running. It's at 32. So it's on the hour chart. What is going on? Why is all of a sudden nothing moving? Let me see. Let me look around. The low flow scanner. Was SF, is that a, oh, this is not an oil play, but looks like they are a company getting selected by Amazon for launch in Singapore. So kind of a Chinese stock, which Chinese markets are probably doing pretty decently. Let's see. TCBP. They had an orphan drug status was granted. That's not a big deal. It's not gonna, I don't think, overwhelm any gold or oil plays right now. This is AIGHR. It's another biofarm, so I'm not too concerned about it. And the rest are pretty much oil. Although I would be keeping an eye on crypto plays as well. If Ethereum continues to go bullish and gets up to 3,000, those plays will all come back alive. And Ethereum's not that far away. Anybody got any stocks I'm not currently looking at? It may have not popped up on my scanners. Okay. HYMC starting to give up at 140 again. I don't know if that's going to get it or not. Oh my goodness. This pattern is starting to look real bad. Got this little smash where we ran into 145. Now wait a minute, let's see, buyers starting to come back in, push it up. Back above 140, look at all those bids that just stacked. So let's see if they come in some more here. We really don't want it to close the way it looks. This candle can push up and start turning green. Actually, we got 5 minutes before the candle closes. Let's say camera or candle. I don't know what I just said. Like I said, guys, you're going to have to bear with me today. I'm on a very, very low amount of sleep. So in them, back to 120. candle can push down. Be right back, guys. Sam. What are you saying, Raja? I'm not sure what that means. Assuming maybe hello or good morning or something. Maybe I'm completely wrong, but please feel free to educate me. Yeah, give me a second so I can round up some coffee. Try to pull it together here. Alright, I don't usually drink coffee, but I feel like it's needed this morning. We're still in the same place on both of these stocks. Is anything... What's that Pike thing doing? That's still consolidating, but it's right under that 200 where it's consolidating at. It is a flag. Big flag pole, followed by that flag pattern, but I don't know. This is very low float, only 7 million shares. Really struggling though with that area. Let's put IMPP up here on the list. Yeah, it's nothing but oil stocks on my day trade above the 200 scanner. Okay. Let me pull up the SPY, see what news we got coming out today. There's actually not a lot. So they're going to suspend Russia's preferential trade status through the Senate quickly, so... And of course, Schumer. The oil prices are not fair or sensible, even though, we're the ones who cut off a big oil pipeline at the beginning of the year. Turkey's Erdogan told Putin permanent ceasefire could lead to long-term solution. I think at this point, I don't know why Putin would want to talk to Turkey for any reason. The Ukraine foreign minister says Ukraine is ready to continue diplomatic efforts. I think you guys... Okay, here's some real information. Manufacturing production was up. Capacity utilization rate about the same. Industrial production was the same as expected. Investors adjust after tightened monetary policy. Some expect steeper path ahead. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a steeper path ahead. Not wrong about that. But yeah, just a whole lot of Ukraine talk. No talk really about too much about all these rate hikes. Because that's what was announced yesterday. They're doing the quarter point raise like we expected. But what I did not expect was for them to announce 7 total rate hikes in 2022. This type of aggressiveness all of a sudden out of Jerome Powell and the Fed when they've been so meh, like little frogs on a knot on a log, just hanging out. HYMC might start to go here. The fact that it's trying to push, if it can get back over 145. Looks like 145 is about to break down. And then bids are on 145 now. Alright, let's see at 150 on the bid. Let's get a nice breakout here, HYM. See all this hype on you? Gold's at 19.50 an ounce now. It's still climbing. You got this, little buddy. Now, and the fact we had all this selling pressure, all this indecision, and now we're starting to break up. You know, it's still a little too early to tell until, like I said, we break 150. But it's looking like we're starting to decide a direction. And then SONM is just hanging out around 115 still at the moment. Come on, you're so close. There's tons of selling pressure right through 145 to 150. In fact, there's all the selling pressure at 146. It's not a great sign. I think we just threw a wick up at 149. No, it wasn't a 149. I just read that time of sales wrong. Very big buyer sitting on 145 now. Another big buyer. Look at these bid sizes. Just came in at 145. I almost wonder if that shorter's covering. After shorting this play all the way down yesterday and seeing it not able to crack anymore. Those are some big orders. Well, again though, with Sprott and AMC buying into it, it could be, it could be private investors or whatnot, but obviously some big orders. As that one adding 2 zeros would make it, 13,000? I believe. Nobody knows anything about the daylight savings time thing? So I wanna just verify that that's real. That we're not doing daylight savings time anymore. This is taking so long. It's been what, an hour on both these plays to try to break out? Hey Lori, good morning, or good evening I should say. How are you? Oh, Lori, I gotta ask for Hal. Hal, it's not got the most diverse palate for foods. because of his unbelievable ability to save money and not spend money. So, do you make lumpias? Because if you can make some lumpias, that would be the way to Hal's heart, to H Trader's heart, is if you can make lumpias. He don't know what they are. I'd say a lot of people probably don't know what they are. But man, I'm good. Or I'm good. I just looked to read your comment. What I meant to say is, man, they're good. Those lumpias are so good. Maybe I'm saying it wrong. Lumpia. Oh, you don't know what it is? Oh, well, I could be saying it wrong. I'm not sure. But you're not originally from Thailand, are you? Or not Thailand, Taiwan. I'm sorry. Because I think it's like a Taiwanese recipe that is passed down normally. But what I know is those little buggers are some of the best little treats you can have. It is yeah, kind of like a fried Asian roll. Maybe they usually have some can have sweet stuff in them. Some can have uh, like chicken, or trying to think if I had any that didn't have chicken. The ones that I kept getting from our Taiwanese friend who lives here in Wisconsin, they were chicken with jalapeno. Was it jalapeno? No, it wasn't jalapeno. I don't know why I'm thinking jalapeno. It was some type of little pepper in there. And those were amazing. And then the sweet ones that had like, I don't even know. I don't even know what was in the sweet things. The sweet lumpias. Lumpias. But man, it's good. You're not Asian and you're here in Taiwan and never saw it. I don't know. Maybe it's maybe it's a real. They do tend to pass down a lot of information in Asian cultures of value, like being able to cook those lumpias. Because this girl, she was selling them. She was selling them at where my wife worked, and I was buying them up. I was like, let me get all of them. But I didn't want to. I didn't mean to go on a rant about lumpias for 30 minutes. They're just very, very good. And I was telling Hal about them, and I thought, well, maybe, she lives in Taiwan. Maybe she knows about them. I'm going to go ahead and delete this downtrend because this doesn't need to be there anymore. We are in this nasty wedge. We gotta break 150 soon, or we're gonna start coming down. So NM still right around 120. How's not doing anything yet. May have to hop out of here. Need to see it break. Let's see, we got 12 minutes on this candle. So as of now, the candle is flat topping. Well, that 12 minutes, maybe we can see it push back up. If it pushes all the way back up to the top of this candle, top, and turns green, then more than likely it's going to break out. But we'll see if we can do that. I am in HYMC and I am in SONM. Both of these are swing trades. I have not took a trade on the day yet because I'm not really seeing anything that I want to get in quite yet. But I think with all the hype behind HYMC, with AMC and Sprott, and then gold coming back up to that 2,000 mark. It's at 1950 right now. It's got, I mean, HYMC at some point, whether it be today or not, I don't know. But I think some point, probably next week. Well, I don't know. We got Friday tomorrow. It still could go tomorrow if it doesn't go today. But I don't know if this, I don't think this miner is going to be going back down very low. I don't think we're going to see it drop way down here. Or anything like that. In fact, we've held above $1 since we broke above it, so the dollar should be really strong support at this point. SPY still dropping off there after hitting that little peak area. Couldn't even get a full candle up to that peak area, just threw some wicks up over it. Let's see. In Nestery, I know about Pal. Our moderator, Stonks and Chomp, she's big on POWW and war stocks. War stocks aren't really my thing. But I'll day trade them if they start getting hot. OWLT, I'm not familiar with. DNN, HYLN, both of those I'm not familiar with. OP and CEI, both those are oil plays. So I agree with the oil plays because oil is back over 100 and pushing. But those other plays, I don't know what they are. Besides PAL. Are they all military stocks, a Nestery? Man, I'm telling, well, you're just joining the stream, Lauren. I'm barely alive. I've been trying to not fall asleep. I'm pretty sure I fell asleep for like a minute earlier while I was looking at the charts. So in taxes, I mean, I barely made it out alive getting them taxes together. Like I said, I'm running on very, very low sleep this morning. So, OWLT makes socks for babies that track heart rates and health. Some Angry Bean water, I don't know what angry bean water is. It sounds like some type of coffee drink. As far as making socks for babies that track heart rates and health, is the company in the U.S. or, well, here's the thing. Electric semi powertrains, okay, HYLM, if it's an EV type of stock, that sector could start running too with oil exploding. DNN uranium miner, definitely bullish on uranium. All those, without me really looking at them, don't sound bad except for the AWLT. That's what your hubby calls your coffee, is the bean water. So I like the oil picks. I like the uranium pick, like I said, in the EV pick. But that baby sock one, with everything going on, I don't think that is going to get that much attention. And then we are, very close to a possible big drop in the stock market. More than likely, especially after what the Feds announced yesterday. Because he's just mad his body is weak and can't handle it. Because commodities are going to more than likely keep going up. And I wouldn't consider baby socks, no matter the technological advancement on them, to be some type of commodity. Right now, everything is just so sketchy. Now, maybe once the market does have a pretty good pullback or crashes like I think it's going to, then maybe AOWLT, something like that, could get some action. But we'll get into actually, what time is it? Yeah, we'll go ahead and get into the Fed talk, what transpired yesterday in news headlines, and all that, while I'm just sitting here waiting on HYMC and SONM to do something, because they're just sitting right at the same areas, right at these resistance areas. So as long as they're sitting at these resistance areas, I think they're going to try to give another test here soon. But they've been slowly being tested. And anyway, if you did not catch Jerome Powell yesterday, and I thought about live streaming it, but I knew he was going to say the quarter point raise. We already knew that. So I was just like, there's nothing really I need to watch or to stream it for. And of course, when Jerome Powell came on and talked, he was only on there like 15 minutes, and he said nothing. Other than what they plan on doing, he said nothing. The economy is strong enough to handle rate raises. But I don't believe that. If you look around, does the economy seem strong enough to be able to handle rate raises at the moment? SONM almost back to that 125 again. Yeah, that may be the case. I'm just going to be a bear no matter what what information you tell me about that type of stock, because I believe you're new to the channel because I've never seen you around. So welcome, first off. Welcome to Framework Fortune. There's plenty of people who disagree with me about what I'm saying right now in the community. So don't take it to heart. Do your own research. But I'm a bear, and I've been bearish on the stock market for 3 years now. And not only the stock market, the U.S. dollar, the U.S. economy, all of that. And I'm not buying into any of the nonsense like Jerome Powell and them are talking about. So, problem being with all the money printing, because in this past week, if you joined the live stream the other day, I accidentally ran into an article that the House has passed a $1.5 trillion bill, and it's going to Joe Biden's desk to sign very soon. Well, that's 1.5 trillion on top of 30 trillion. 30 whatever trillion. I don't even know anymore, but we're stacking up the trillions. So that's more debt. If inflation numbers came out, what was it, last week? And the overall inflation was basically 8% over the past year, according to the Fed CPI, which is specifically been changed about I think it was about 20 years ago. They changed the way they do CPI, leaving out some key indicators that keep these inflation numbers looking low. So whatever number they're saying, you can expect it's actually higher than that. So they're admitting that it's 8%. Jerome Powell admitted yesterday that the inflation is going to get higher, and admitted they were wrong in the beginning about inflation. Surprise, surprise. For the few of us out there for 2 years have been screaming that the feds are stuck in between a rock and a hard place, and all they're doing is just talking to try to buy time. And now they've been tapering, so all that money's coming out of the stock market that the Fed was putting in. And of course, we're not going to see institutions come and buy at the all-time highs of an artificially inflated market. So that's why I think the market is going to continue to drop, and I do not really want to touch anything in the stock market other than commodity-based plays from now on. SONM is a cell phone company, but SONM has some things going on, and also there's not many cell phone makers left. Most of them are gone. There's only a few cell phone makers that are companies that exist. So, I'm not expecting SONM to continue to run just up to the $2 area. But gold, silver, oil, rice, wheat, all that stuff, cryptos, EV stocks, that type of stuff, anything that has got a value and a demand for it is where I want to be. And I am not the only stocks I'm holding is the ones I'm holding now. I completely cashed out my portfolio a while back, a year ago, because I thought things were going to get this bad quicker, but the feds were able to continue to print money and keep the market afloat. So, Guinness coconut curry braised short ribs, that sounds good. So, we expected the quarter point rate hike. I may have to get out of this here if it starts cracking 140. But we expected the quarter point rate hike. What nobody expected, even Peter Schiff has a video out today saying that he did not expect it, was 7 more rate hikes or 6 more rate hikes for the end of the year. So, two things. With the market already being tapered those rate hikes are certainly not going to help. Rate hikes after they inflated the hell out of the market and out of the currency is a problem. That's why we're having the problems we're having in the first place. Not because of Russia and not because of COVID. This is all because of excessive money printing since 2008. So all this is all coming to a head. And those 7 rate hikes is supposed to have interest rates to 1.9% by the end of the year. So basically a 2-point rate hike by the end of the year. And then the following year, they're going to put rates up to 2.8%. And then the following year, even higher. That is their plan. Now, if inflation is at 8%, which that's what their CPI numbers are showing, and inflation is going to get higher, because that's what Jerome Powell said. He admitted that they got it wrong and that it could go higher before it gets better. Well, if it goes higher, let's say it goes to 10, 12%, the quarter-point rate hikes, and even by the end of the year, 2% rate hike, when we have 10% inflation. Now, I do a lot of math, but if you have inflation growing as rapidly as it is, how is a quarter point and even the whole rate raises 125? What about 125? Sorry, I was thinking about SONM again. But if the interest rates are going, how can I do this? Let me see. This would be your inflation. Let me do it like this. This will be better. So if your inflation's going like this and your interest rates are going like this, slower behind it, how is that interest rates going to stop the inflation? I don't think it's going to. They also don't want to crash the stock market. The country right now, besides the stock market, is in an exorbitant amount, not just the government, but everybody in the U.S. are in an exorbitant amount of debt. I believe the statistics are around like 80% of the country has an average of like $300,000 in debt. So if that's all credit card debt, variable APRs, or mortgages that are balloon loans, or not fixed APRs for mortgages, those rates are going to go up. And that means people are going to be paying more interest on top of that money. Which, if they're already that far in debt, how are they going to pay higher interest rates on their debt? There's another thing thrown in there. So there are so many factors that are wrong with the way they're doing this. They should have raised rates tremendously in 2008 after the housing crash, or during the crash. They did not. They waited till afterwards and then QE'd it to death. Right after COVID, when it looked like inflation was going to be bad again, they should have raised the rates. So they did not raise rates out of preparation for inflation. They are now raising rates out of desperation because of inflation, which is totally two different things. So I don't think the Feds have any power anymore. I think they've lost it all. Inflation has gotten out of their control because they never really had control of it to begin with. And then, throw on the Russia and Ukraine stuff and all this other stuff happening on a geopolitical level. There's not anything that shows good signs for the U.S. economy. But it doesn't stop there. Another headline, another news story that did not get very much attention. May have to get out of HYMC here. It's looking like it wants to crack down. Still holding that 140, but looking very sketchy. But anyway, Saudi Arabia is working out a deal to sell their oil to China, but not for US dollar, for the Chinese yuan. So some have been talking about a while. The world reserve currency, the US dollar, has been weakening, and China has been taking advantage and putting themselves in place to take over as the world currency, world reserve currency. And their yuan is already digital and already some type of blockchain based digital currency. Of course, it's not decentralized, it is fully centralized. But if Saudi Arabia makes this deal where they're going to sell their oil to China, and they're going to sell it for yuan instead of US dollar, that will significantly weaken the dollar, because the dollar is backed by nothing. It's a fiat currency, but at least you can look and say America has oil or resources, and you can make the argument that those back the fiat currency. I'll disagree with you, of course, but it is an argument to be made. And I don't think, I think we're going to lose world reserve status here soon to China. I think that is going to be the case, because there's at this point there's no saving the US dollar. However, the worst case scenario is the one that I always talk about, is the dollar goes to zero. And if you're in the US stock market or in something where you have to convert back to US dollars, it isn't going to matter how much you make in the stock market if the US dollars are worth zero, and that's what you're having to pull your money out of. Right? So that's the worst case scenario. And I harp on that scenario a lot because I want people to be prepared for that scenario. That may not play out. As much as I talk about it, it may not play out. What I think we're going to see is we're going to see the Feds change course. We're going to see probably a couple of these interest rate hikes, quarter-point interest rate hikes, and then they're going to see the stock market really starting to give up. They're going to see the struggle. Basically, with high inflation and raising interest rates on debt, and then they're also talking about raising taxes. I don't know how they expect anybody to be able to handle that after, businesses were locked down and all of that. So they'll have to turn and switch courses. They'll have to go back to 0% rates and they're going to have to start printing money again. That's the thing with inflation. Once the cat is out of the bag and you start using printed currency to handle all of the issues, well, then you have to keep on printing currency, right? You got to think of the economy as like a normal human being without quantitative easing, without all the money printing. It's just a normal guy. But if you take a normal guy and you pump him full of tons of crack for 10 years straight, longer than that really, for 15 years straight, then that guy is going to become an addict. So right now, our economy is addicted to money printing. And just like an addiction, you can't just turn that off. It is going to take a while to get over that addiction. However, the feds are not very good doctors. So they're going to see the economy being starting to withdraw from not getting the quantitative easing, from not getting that money printing, not getting that crack. And when that happens, they're going to have to. They're going to have to feed the beast that they created. Now, the same way that you would get over an addiction is go cold turkey and don't do the drug anymore. So to fix it, we would have to go cold turkey as a country and just eat the ramifications of all that money printing. Let the stock market crash. Let the US dollar come down. Let the natural laws of supply and demand take course, do what they're supposed to. And after, a few years or something, we could rebound pretty strong. But that's not what they're going to do. And with the government still spending $1.5 trillion every 6 months, that is not going to help either at all. So this crackhead of economy, it's itching. It needs a fix. It needs a fix real bad. And I don't think the feds realize it. They either realize it and they're doing this on purpose, or they're just really dumb. I can't imagine they're really dumb. So I think a lot of this is on purpose. I don't know if they're, trying to crash the US dollar on purpose to move to a new digital currency or whatever. But they've created this crackhead, and now they gotta deal with it. USD is backed by GDP. USD supposedly is backed by GDP, but this is the best argument I can give anybody about that. Yes, it is supposed to be backed off the GDP, but if the GDP is constantly changing and the currency is supposed to have a base value, then how would the actual purchasing power of the dollar be a stable currency, right? if the GDP is constantly changing, and that's what the dollar is backed off of, then that is inaccurate. You can't back the value off of the GDP when it's constantly changing. How do you come to that? I mean, what are you going to do? Are you going to, you know, watch the GDP daily? That's the thing. Like it they can claim it, that that is tied to the dollar, but it's not. There's nothing tied to the dollar. It's just pieces of paper that they say has value. Uh, but a stable coin is more stable than the U.S. dollar. So SONM is back over 125 coming up here. Looks like it may want to get going. HYMC just still right here. Basically just still going sideways. Really, we're in this like sloping channel. Let me just go ahead and get out of this. 137. Nope, starting to hold 140 again. SONM getting rejected there. Another time at 125. See what's the SPY doing. This is the SPY, that little pullback, having a little bounce up so far, but if it does not move any further, this is the start of a downtrend intraday here, which more than likely is going to be the case. Gold still sitting at 950, oil still around 102. Hussa still climbing. It's slow climbing, but it looks like it's getting ready to possibly make a nice move here if oil breaks out. Break of $7. Give me just a second, guys. I'll be right back. Very nice. Hustle breaking over $7. Let's see. Did I see the one of them want to raise it by 0.5%? He descended from the other eight. Yeah, see. What's up, GD? Good morning. Let's see. Let's just SON is going to try to break here. It's getting really close. I'm up, looks like about $50 right now on this play, but I'm down about 40 on HYMC. What's up, Lightning Rick? Good morning, buddy. The U.S. economy would be like Dr. Roxo, the rock and roll clown. it's it's something crazy. It's not, and that's the thing. Like everything that Powell was asked yesterday, he responded with the same things, that the economy is strong enough to handle it. This is coming from the same person who said that inflation was not going to get over 2%. A year ago or whatever it was. The Feds talked for a whole entire year without doing anything. They just talked about what they were going to do. And now they're finally doing some things, but, are they really doing much besides just tapering? Not really. They've they've got to try to decrease the federal balance sheet, or not the federal balance sheet, the Federal Reserve balance sheet, because their balance sheet's the highest it's ever been. So is our government's debt. So there's not going to be some special saving from the government this time. Every time in the past something has happened, the government, of course, has been able to step in because they have been the world power, with the U.S. dollar being the world reserve currency. Well, like I said, China's about to take that over if we're not careful. And we ain't being careful, so it's gonna get ugly. Regardless whether we see the dollar go to zero, or maybe we rebound somehow miraculously, these tiny little rate hikes that are causing even more panic in the stock market. Even if that miraculously was to happen and they were able to get inflation under control, a lot of damage has already been done. So it's not like if they do get inflation under control, everything is just going to go back to normal. We're still going to be 30 plus trillion in debt, probably more by that time. And, possibly in a war with Russia. Like Biden calling Putin a war criminal and all that stuff. Why? Why would you go and insult him like that when he is blowing up Ukraine left and right? Don't poke the bear. You see Ukraine and Turkey, they're trying to have peace talks, but the U.S. and Europe are just, every time it seems like it's going to get calmed down, and H&H Trader was talking about this, he pointed it out to me. Every time they start to get things calmed down a little bit, America or Europe comes in and starts going off on Putin. That's not going to help the situation. You can't negotiate peace when you're coming in and punching the person in the face. We crashed their economy. So I don't know what that is about. I guess to keep up this narrative that every single Russian person in the world is some evil douchebag like Putin. Even the little 2-year-old girls that live there and 2-year-old boys that have no idea what's going on. I guess They want to cancel all of the Russian people, which is just silliness. They don't have control of what Putin does. That's why he's a dictator. They're not responsible for that. So, I don't know. It's just so many things. Like I said, the Ukraine-Russian thing's mainly, I think, a distraction, and I mainly think it's over oil. Since oil is at the highest prices, and Putin has been trying to get this pipeline built for a while now. So just all this on top of each other, stacked. Like I don't see an easy path ahead. I don't see a quick rebound for the U.S. economy. How bad everything is going to be, who knows? Not a fortune teller. Like I said, worst case scenario, the dollar goes to zero. The stock market just absolutely eats it back to like 1920 levels or something. But yeah, it's not. Things are not going to get better soon. Now, and again, now oil's going back up. Gas prices are going to go right back up. So everybody, again, who has debt, who is going to have to pay more on that debt because the interest rates are going up, they're also having to pay for very high gas prices right now, very high grocery prices. A lot of people's mortgages are not going to be able to pay. They're going to default. I mean, we're set up for a very rough next couple of years. So, prepare for what could happen. And all that being said, and I was saying this in the Discord yesterday too, just because the US dollar could collapse or could be switched out as the world reserve currency or anything like that does not mean it is the end of the world at all. It just means you don't want to be in US dollars. So if you prepare yourself for the worst case situation, you can prepare to be able to capitalize off of the crazy volatility swings that are going to happen in the market from this rough path ahead of us. The housing market crashes, you'll be able to get very good properties for cheap. If the stock market crashes, you'll be able to get quality companies for cheap. But, you may have to wait if those are U.S. investments, U.S. dollar investments. You may have to wait for that currency to come back, or you could always sell your stocks if you were going to sell them in another fiat currency like the digital yuan or a euro or whatever you want to do. So it's not like the end of the world. And people, when I say the dollar going to zero, a lot of people automatically go to, I'm calling for the end of the world. And that's just not the case. The dollar is not the end-all be-all of currency. It's a fiat currency, and history has repeated itself over and over again that fiat currencies do not work. They only last about 100 years. U.S. dollar is, since it became a fiat, is coming up on that 100-year mark. So it's not doom and gloom. It's not going to be the apocalypse if the dollar significantly drops or the economy crashes or anything like that. It's not going to be the end of the world. Now, if you're in some areas where everybody's desperate for food and stuff like that, because a lot of people are going to get hurt pretty bad financially just because most of the American population doesn't know very much about our own financial systems and trading and all of that. And why I do what I do is to try to educate as many people as I can and help them become their own investors and traders. But there's so many people out there who don't even understand what inflation is. They don't even know who Jerome Powell is. So a lot of these people are about, they're going to be in for a rude awakening. Like, I've been seeing people complaining on social media about gas prices, saying, "Oh, gas prices are high, but you want me to go out and spend $60K on an electric car." I switched to electric a year and a half ago, and brand new Nissan Leaf. But because it was electric, the federal government and a lot of states give you rebates and tax refunds for most of those electric cars, or they probably still are. So it did not cost me no $60,000 for an electric car. And then another rumor is that electric cars run your electricity up way more than the money you would pay in gas. That is not true. It barely affects my electricity. It plugs into a 110 outlet like a vacuum cleaner. So it's not taking that much electricity. My electricity bill barely even jumped. It was unnoticeable compared to what all of this that I would have paid in the last 2 years in gas. I would say that car has already paid itself off completely just because of that. So that's the thing what I'm saying. Like, the general population literally has no idea what they're talking about right now. And that's when you hear people saying that, the media narrative that Russia is the reason we have inflation. Or before that, it was COVID that we had inflation. It's just nonsense. It's just media nonsense and people buy it up and think that is the end all be all. But anyway, the main point is, no matter how this shakes out, it is not going to be an easy path moving forward for the U.S. and everybody in it. Now, of course, the really rich people, they'll be fine because they'll just go out of U.S. dollar real quick and move into whatever else. Or just like Elon Musk tweeted the other day that he's selling, he sells his Tesla shares, but he's not selling any Bitcoin. Well, I wonder why. Because Elon Musk is not an idiot. He knows what inflation actually means and what is coming down the pipeline. So it's not going to be the end of the world. Don't think of it as doom and gloom, but it would be it wouldn't be a terrible idea to grab some non-perishable food items and have stored. Some cans of beans, rice, stuff like that doesn't go bad. Just in case. Because even if it doesn't get the worst case scenario, inflation is going to go up more anyway. They admitted that. So the can of beans and rice that you're buying right now, in another couple of months or whatever, is probably going to be a couple of dollars higher in price, just because the purchasing value of the dollar is going to continue to go down. So that's something to look at. And then as far as trading and investing, if you've been following me, you got to make your own decisions. Got to make your own decisions on that. Me personally, I'm in gold, silver, platinum, and crypto. That's pretty much it. And I'm about to get out of the one real estate deal that I have at the moment that I got into 4 years ago and wait for this housing market to come down some so I can find some nice investments. Because my plan is if gold and silver continue to go up because of inflation, which is historically the case, gold and silver are always used as some type of inflation hedge. But if they go up quite a bit and cryptos go up quite a bit while the housing market crashes and the stock market crashes, then I can sell all those at the high prices and buy the dips on everything. So you want to be on the right side of the money, which is not always obvious. It's not always right out there in front of you. And you could get it wrong. I mean, I could be totally wrong. Like the gold and cryptos I got, if, like I said, miraculously somehow they're able to stop the inflation suddenly, then we could see gold, silver, and cryptos, those possible inflation hedges, not be needed as much and then drop. Now, I'm a crypto bull, so I highly doubt that anything at this point is going to cause cryptocurrencies in general to drop any significance at all, unless it's from a project itself having a security breach or something like that. Decentralized projects that have global currencies aren't going to care as much about the US dollar going to zero or crashing or the US economy, because people in all the rest of the world and the other economies will still more than likely be buying crypto. We've seen multiple countries try to ban crypto, and we've seen how that has went every single time. So it has not worked in the country's favor, in the government's favor, when they try to start banning crypto. It only makes people want decentralized cryptocurrencies more. So that's why I like certain crypto projects, even in these uncertain times, because, for example, Cosmos Atom, I know for a fact I can pull it up and see the total value locked, the total amount of money that is locked in the Cosmos Atom blockchain and the rest of the ecosystem. So with billions of dollars locked into those smart contracts, it's not like somebody can just, start dumping like they can with stock, or some institution can start dumping. It's going to be real hard to dump cryptos like that when there's money that is locked in from previous lower prices. Hence why we've seen Cosmos Atom pretty much going straight up since it came out. So, cryptos is an option. Gold and silver, precious metals, those are options. With gold and silver, though, they could hit some big moves. But gold and silver gold specifically is more about protecting your wealth and not so much making a whole ton of money off of it. Now, of course, in inflationary times, gold prices might jump pretty big. They have historically, and you can make a ton of money when they do. But for the most part, gold is just going to be keeping your value while inflation continues to drop. You're not gonna. Even if gold was to drop It's not going to drop from 2,000 to 1,000. It would drop like 1950, maybe back down to the 1800 area. It was at 1800 for a long time. And then, of course, real estate. But again, if you're buying real estate right now, you'd be buying at the top pretty much. Savings account, if you have a savings account, go ahead and just give all your money to the banks and the government, because that's all you're doing with a savings account. 2% interest rates on savings is not going to, inflation's at 8%, you're losing negative 6% of your purchasing power from your US dollars that's sitting in there. So you're not actually saving anything. You're losing money. So savings account's not going to save you during inflation. But yeah, just anything that has some type of real value behind it, other than a dollar, like rice. Rice has a true value because it has a demand. People want rice. They want to eat rice. They want to make the rice. The US dollar does not have a demand. Nobody actually wants the US dollar. You want the US dollar so you can buy the rice to eat it. So that is the difference that you've got to really think about when you're looking at all this stuff happening right now. Well, all right. Looks like it's going to be slow moving here. Again, yeah, Hustle's pulled back 2 at the moment. Let's see. Oil is uptrending very nicely. We are running into the 50-day, which is about 105. And also that was previous support there. So we're going to need to see oil break back over 105 and start holding 105 as support for it to continue on up. It could get rejected here today at 103 and start selling off. I don't know why it would. Let's see. Gasoline sellers could struggle as California vehicle sales hit a tipping point. Natural gas. The guys have been saying watch natural gas as well. So natural gas, may have to look for some natural gas stocks if natural gas is heating up. I don't have the natural gas future contract on here. I should look for it. There's enough to trade in gold and oil and silver right now in these sectors. Yeah, look at that. HYMC just still sideways at 140. Okay, so it is possible this may crack. And the reason being is because we made higher highs until this candle here. We did not make a higher high. So it's got to hold up. This 140 area right now, but you can just see that straight downtrend we're going into. Yeah, 140 starting to act as resistance. See if 140 can hold. I think oil can go up more. I think it's more than likely going to go up more, just because nothing has really happened. I mean, what has changed in this past week that would keep oil from continuing its run? And I've not seen anything, any progress. I mean, especially if Ukraine, or not Ukraine, but if Saudi Arabia is selling their oil to China for digital yuan, uh, you know, that's not does not bode well for U.S. oil. So that would mean prices would more than likely go up. The biggest thing is watching the NASDAQ or the SPY. So that 13.5 area on the NASDAQ was the major support area. We did crack below it, made an inverse head and shoulders, and broke back up. So you know what a head and shoulders is. It's the inverse, head here, shoulder here, and then the arms. But you see, we just ran into the 200-day moving average on the NQ, and that selling pressure is clearly showing, and we are downtrending even today so far. So a lot of resistance there. If an NQ drops back below 3,500, which would be when the SPY cracks, what was it, 420? Yeah, 420 I think's been our main line of support and resistance. But the NQ under 13.5 and the SPY back under 425. And I think oil will certainly get a lot of attention. Because right now, like we were talking about the other stream the other day, the quadruple witching hour, or not witching hour, the quadruple witching day that you brought up, Lori, with no future contracts previous for oil, they're coming up on that expiration date. There is a continuous contract for after that expiration date, but usually during this week or two, big money can't just come right out of anything. Like they can't go in it. An institution can't just drop $10 million at once. It would cause prices to go crazy. Maybe on futures, but you're not going to drop $100 million on futures and all at once. I mean, 10 million probably isn't that much for futures, but 100 million would be. But it's going to take the time. It's going to take time for those institutions to all get on the new contracts, or big investors or whoever is trading the futures and moving them. So we kind of got this. That's what we've been seeing all week. Part of it was the Fed meeting and all this other news. Traders are sidelining. Everybody's kind of waiting, unless they're crazy pants and they're buying this dip, if they want to call it that. Everybody is waiting on the sidelines to see if the market is going to rebound. At the same time, those futures contracts are switching over. So once the future contracts are switched over, I think we'll see the NQ continue to drop, and then we'll see oil going up, which oil back over 100 is a bullish sign anyway. But as I've been saying, gold and silver, I think, are coming up next. Maybe EV. I mean, at this point, with oil being so high, there's no really reason to separate oil and EV stocks. They're going to kind of run together at this point, I would think. What was I doing?
Oh, so here's my metals scanner, and you can see all the green on it. LITM up 11%. IAG uh, is up. AG, which is First Majestic Silver, is up. Goro, which is gold, is up. Not let's see. I think that's Alcoa. It's up about 5%. AU is what is AU? I can't remember what AU is, but PAS is Pan American Silver. FSM is Fortuna Silver Mining. AGI, I believe, maybe that's first. No, this is Alamos Gold. Sandstorm Gold is up. So a lot of these plays, and of course HYMC is on this list as well. But a lot of these plays, metal plays, have been slowly sneaking. They've been slowly sneaking as gold's been approaching that $2,000 mark, gold and silver. So, oil, so like oil stocks certainly can get hot. Obviously, there's plenty of money to make off of oil stocks. HH has been killing it on his channel with the oil stocks. And I don't think that oil will really slow down, but gold and silver breaking out may take some of the heat away from oil, because gold and silver is a very large market cap like oil. Not as large as oil. Oil is, I'm not 100% sure on this, but I think oil is probably the largest market cap of any market. Just because there's so much money in that market. But gold and silver have very high market caps as well. And if they start going, you know, if a barrel of oil costs you $100 right now, or an ounce of silver costs you 100 and something, a little bit over 100. Uh, if oil is struggling to get to 150, which is not even broke 130 yet, you know, to double your money, you're going to have oil go to $200. Now, you can make plenty of money if oil goes from 100 to 150 and you're trading oil stocks. But as far as the amount of capital you're investing and what your potential return is, you buy an ounce of silver, silver's a lot cheaper. But if silver explodes, it only needs to go from $25 to $50 to double your money, which is about the all-time high for silver. Now, gold's a little bit more expensive. You know, it's $2,000 an ounce. But that is one of the great things about gold, is it is small and holds big value. You know, you can wear gold. And if you need to escape a country or something, like, think about, especially with like all this Ukraine and war stuff going on, Ukraine and Russia stuff going on, if you think about some of the past wars, like World War II, World War One, your grandparents probably had some jewelry, some gold and silver jewelry that they were saving. You know, your grandparents probably passed that down to you, maybe, or maybe if they're your great grandparents, or whatever the case may be. I'm sure a lot of people have gotten some type of little gold, silver jewelry from their grandparents or great grandparents. There's plenty of stories of Jewish people during the, you know, that time, who was able to get out of the country because they had on jewelry. They had on gold and silver jewelry. So they were able to use that to get on boats or get across borders, things like that. So, and another thing, the reason why a lot of that generation gave inheritance in gold jewelry and silver jewelry is because there's no tax on it. It's a non-taxable transferable wealth. So if you're going to die and you don't want the government to take all the taxes from your kids or whoever you're leaving it to, you're better off probably leaving it in some type of metals, whether it be jewelry or whatever. And then too, one thing that rings true with gold and silver is the demand for gold and silver is not just a human thing, right? If you've ever seen Moana, shout out to you if you've seen Moana, and don't be scared, big ego guys in here. Don't be scared. Don't be scared to admit you watched Moana. The Rock was in it. The Rock's cool. Rock was singing his hardest. It was terrible, but it was. But anyway, to the point. If you see Moana, when she's down in the ocean, there's the giant crab, and he sings a song about how he's very shiny, and he has jewelry and treasure and all that stuff all over him. Well, that was not just for that movie. Crabs actually do that stuff. They will decorate their shells in multiple different things. If they could find gold and silver, I'm sure they'd love to decorate it. And that happens in across other species of animals too, to where they interact with gold and silver in some way. So the idea of jewelry is not just a human concept. It's a concept that spreads throughout the entire animal kingdom, and I think that's why we have continuously, historically, always seen gold and silver go up. It's in our nature to automatically want those shiny rocks. We're very easily distracted. So shiny rocks. Sign me up for the rare shiny rocks, you know what I mean? But who knows? Who knows what the future is going to hold? I'm just pretty certain that things are not going to get better very soon. That is the most thing I'm certain about. What the end game is going to be, whether it's the worst case of a scenario of the $0 and complete market crash, or if the Feds do like I say in reverse course and they start dropping rates again and printing more money, that could cause another possible artificial bull run in the stock market if they are able to still do that. See, that's the thing I don't know. Can the Feds, if their miraculous interest rate rises, I say if, I'm going to say when they don't work, will the Feds be able to switch courses and start printing money again? That's the question. And I'm sure they can. But if we lose world reserve currency status, then what is really the point of printing all that money? SONM starting to test 130 here. See if it can break down. Oh, starting to get a little push up. Now my profit target is $2, and the reason why is because of this daily chart. You look at this daily chart, there's no resistance back here until about 175, $2. Right? It could still rebound all the way up to $2 before we slow down or have some type of significant pullback. So 150 is a good idea to have as first profit target. I do think if we test 150, we're going to break it though. We're not that far away from it. We may not break it right away, because when this play has ripped, it usually, well actually the first day it ripped was all intraday, but then yesterday it started going in after hours before it slowed down when it hit 150. So we'll see. Up over 63 now. If this thing can keep pushing. And then HYMC just still hanging out. How's Hussa doing? Hussa's still holding 7. Yeah, HYMC still holding, but just barely. That's really looking... excuse me, I got hiccups. So, it's barely held. Well, I just threw a wick down. So, I was about to say, before I started hiccuping. I was about to say, this looks like it's very, very, very close to cracking, and it may right here. $130. We got support at 135. I'll probably hold it as long as 135 holds. But I believe I'm going to call it a day, because it doesn't look like SONM is going to shoot up really fast. Again, it's probably going to be a slow mover through the day if it does continue to move. But I'll let you guys know how both of these trades play out in the Discord. So if you haven't yet, go check out frameworkfortune.com. Sign up is free, and you can access the Discord for free. A lot of big stuff about to come out, guys, with Framework Fortune. A lot of stuff about to happen. So all you guys who has been supporting all the channels, the network, the brand, everything, it's about to get real spicy. The rest of 2022, now that I have gotten over the tax burden, the golem of taxes that has beat me down for the last 2 days. The rest of 22, we're going to get swanky. So, appreciate everybody joining me as always. Be back a little bit later on the crypto channel for some Gods Unchained and probably some crypto updates too. I still haven't done a crypto update just because everything has been sitting in the same area, so I haven't felt like there's really a need until now. Now that Ethereum's broken over 2,800 and all of that, I can start talking and breaking down some crypto patterns now. But that consolidation was like the whole time oil and the stock market and everything has been going crazy. Cryptos really have just been going sideways. So there's not really been a ton of movement, but I think we're about to see that the crypto market heat back up finally. But yeah, you guys have a great rest of your day. Stay safe out there. Until next time.
This is war with the enemy. Think that it was meant to be. Living in a time where disease is on every screen. I won't let them fester me. I know most are festering. Negativity is a plague for the mentally weak.